This show is proudly sponsored by TraderCobb.com, the leaders in checklist-based trading strategy. Yes, that's exactly how it sounds. I'll teach you a literal checklist so you can tick off items and be decisive very quickly. Get across to TraderCobb.com where there's a bunch of free content there for you to have a look at. And of course, if you're interested in having me come to your city, click and register for the live events coming up and filling fast. Have a great day. Visit TraderCobb.com now.
The Trader Cobb Crypto Show, talking business in blockchain.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Trader Cobb Crypto Show. Today's guest is out there in, well, I think it's sunny Chicago at the moment. It certainly sounds like you've had a pretty brutal winter. The man is Kirk Wuckert. He is the co-host of Crypto Traders Pro. He's got a lot going on in the space right now, as a matter of fact, and we're going to touch on a number of these different things that strings in your bow at the moment. But thank you so much for your time today.
For sure. I'm glad to be here, Craig. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all. So let's kick off with a bit of an introduction as to who you are. You've been in business for quite a while, and it seems as though you've been around the traps. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what brought you to where you are now?
Well, shoot, I could start at my birth.
Let's start.
Yeah. So let's start with Bitcoin. I was a kind of a libertarian activist. In 2012, I got involved in Bitcoin. And got a little bit involved in mining. I was running some nodes for a while in 2013, 2014. Thought I was going to be a really cool developer miner guy. Turns out I wasn't that good at that. Stayed in the space nonstop, started trading pretty actively 2014, 2015. Really got into TA, but I was always more of a fundamentals guy. I really liked the following hash power, following developers and business stuff. So in 2017, I joined the Facebook Crypto Traders group that was started by my partner, Matthew, as a moderator. And he's an equities trader, like professionally. I was a little more like at home doing it myself a bit. And but he needed a fundamentals guy. And truly, I needed a technical analyst that was like a pro technical analyst. And we've just put together a really good group, and it turned into an educational program, and we do traveling boot camps and speaking engagements, and it's become a whole universe of itself.
Yeah, right. So what got me, obviously, you sort of half answered the question by the libertarian front that you sort of approached the market on. When you started buying, did you start buying in 2012?
I started buying in 2013. My first experience with Bitcoin was actually somebody paid me with it. I'm from the printing industry traditionally, and the guy asked me, "Hey, we need some banners made for basically a protest, and can I pay you in Bitcoin?" And I didn't know what the hell it was, and he gave me the very brief explanation. I was, sure, what the hell? And the rest is history.
And did you keep the hell? Like, have you still got those same Bitcoin?
I don't think I have those. I kept my first purchase. I still have my first purchase of Bitcoin. I think the original, I think I basically passed it along. I bought something with it and,
kept using
I didn't get it until 2013. I thought it was goofy internet money. I didn't see the difference between that and video game tokens. But then I got really into the white paper and just like Bitcoin fundamentals. And so now I do have my 2013 Bitcoins.
So are you one of these people that obviously you bought very early, you've been in the space for a very long period of time compared to most. Are you one of these people that have sort of done extraordinarily well out of the space? Because I know a lot of people bought back then, but some people might have bought a little bit, or have you managed to not get hacked, B, not to get tied up in like a Mt. Gox type of event? Have you managed to be able to hold them, and therefore has that really significantly changed your life?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's been life-changing for me. I have had a couple of mishaps. I didn't have any like Mt. Gox style, like lose everything moments, but I had in 2014, I was trying to put together a mining business with a couple of buddies. It was a couple of partners, and one of the guys ripped me off. It was about 10K worth of Bitcoin in 2014 prices. So it was, not insignificant, but we were just kind of starting to get our funds put together. So we never even really got the company off the ground, and he disappeared. Haven't heard from him since. He literally, I was knocking on his door and his house was vacant. Gone. So that's probably my worst experience in the space like that. But otherwise, yeah, I didn't let it discourage me. I bought for a long time, and I was self-employed, so I kind of had the ability to. I was paying some of our employees in it and stuff as well. So I kind of got everybody involved in like the 2014 era. And so I got a lot of people that used to be employees that are quite happy with me.
I was going to say, you mustn't find it difficult to get a beer bought for you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, from there, I mean, obviously you got in early. We'll go down the trading path in just a moment, but I also understand that you got doing some stuff in manufacturing, supply chain, and that sort of thing, which obviously the blockchain complements that business model quite well. What are you doing in that space? Like, how are you, I guess, implementing it? What's the business?
So, I don't do, I'm more of a consultant kind of guy, because I was in like print distribution. So it was worldwide mailing, promotional product kind of stuff. So we were doing t-shirts sent out to, worldwide sales forces, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But I get involved now in like sort of the blockchainification of various things. So I'm more of a consultant on, what can we actually do? I think a lot of business, especially in 2017, there was a lot of people like, hey, we need a blockchain for XYZ. And the fact is they actually didn't. But I got a little bit internet famous for being a wet blanket. And people are, man, he doesn't even like crypto and blah, blah, blah. And I always consider myself a realist. But so I've gotten involved with a couple of projects as sort of a back-end guy. So I'm not actively working in like supply chain myself, but I've steered a number of people into the development communities that I kind of have old relationships with and that kind of thing.
In 2017, when you were saying about different companies sort of saying they needed blockchain, was that because they were wanting to do an ICO, or was that because they were just excited by the potential of blockchain?
Both. I mean, the ICO thing was obviously, if you wanted to raise funds quickly, that was absolutely the way to do it. I was, I don't know, lucky, or if I had foresight, but I as a rule, like I told us, like the Crypto Traders Pro universe, like we are not doing any ICO promotion, period. I saw it as like, what, these are unregistered securities, and it all seems like a grand idea right now, but I can see somewhere down the road, FBI agent knocking on the door, like, hey, you never registered to be an influencer. And so I just said, we're not doing that. On the other side, like I think a lot of people really don't understand what blockchains even are. They don't understand the data structures. They don't understand that they probably don't need the data integrity. And therefore it's a silly solution. So while people like the hype, when you actually explain to them what the limitations are and do you actually need to have a blockchain developer to do these things when you can manage your own database, or you actually already manage your own database that is more efficient right now? Yeah. So in some cases it does absolutely make sense, but it's much smaller than people tend to think. So.
Yeah. Okay. And are you still doing a fair bit of consultancy around that at the moment? Or, I mean, obviously we've seen in the last couple of months with the, revival of the market, of course. And look, the biggest bit of promotion we've ever had as a space, which is Facebook, right? And I went to Facebook an event yesterday, right? I was there for 6 hours, and it was really interesting because I was trying to speak to them about Libra. I was ready. I had my little microphone thing. I was ready to interview somebody at Facebook. And they didn't know anything about it. Obviously, it's come out of the main head honchos of this sort of thing, and the rest it hasn't sort of dripped down. I also was trying to speak to them about we were all banned from doing any promotion on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They've since lifted that. And I was trying to find somebody. I'm like, dude, the guys, it was a creator, like a content creators event, right? I was like, can I speak to somebody about the advertising guidelines? Because we've never been able to advertise with you. Now we can. We want to know how we don't get blocked. Like, we're not going to do anything silly, but we don't know what you deem as being silly and what we might deem as being, you got to know. They had no idea at all. Yeah. Really, really interesting. I mean, it's a massive, massive, massive company. So of course with that amount of press that we've had, I was reading the Australian Financial Review this morning. There's stuff about Bitcoin and Australian crypto blockchain companies going out there again.
Mhm.
We've seen that resurgence. My phone's ringing a lot. I'm getting a lot of emails. Are you finding it the same, that there are more and more people now that had projects that they might be ready to roll out again in this most recent revival?
A bit, yeah. It's certainly picked up the last 3 or 4 months. I think the biggest uptick has really been in the last like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the same people saying exactly that. Like, hey, you know what? I kept a little bit of the Ethereum that I had or whatever. And, hey, I'm starting to come up a little bit here. And it seems a little bit less, though. I think it's less of a frenzy. 2017 was wild. And it might be that we're still in the very early stages of the bull run here. Hopefully, we're going to be hitting epic all-time highs coming into the second half of the year. But I don't know. Yeah, so far it hasn't been as explosive as 2017, but I'm trying to think mentally, was I having these conversations in June of 2017? Because it may not have been wild yet, because obviously October through December was outrageous in 2017. So
you were talking before about sort of nerding out in the fundamental stuff is what you really like to do. That's totally way outside of my ballpark. I'm just a trader. I've been trading for 13 years and sort of down tools in traditional markets because it was just getting, I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest. Yes, I was making money, but there was a whole part of my brain that wasn't stimulated. But I got into crypto July of 2017, started trading at about end of August. So I usually watch a market for 2 months to see what the factors are for a new market. I found out that there was really no factors. It was no factor market. It was just it's a nuts market.
Number go up. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And we saw a lot of people during the period. I had no desire to set up Trader Cobb. I didn't come into this space to be an educator at all. I'd educated before. I'd mentored people in my 13-year trading. But I didn't come into it for that. I came into it to invest and to trade and use my skill set. Yeah. What I saw was what I call a lot of turkeys flying in a hurricane. Everyone was just doing this terrible TA. They were, they came down in the last shower. They've been trading for about 3 minutes, and now they're selling these courses for like $10,000, and it really pissed me off. I'm a 35-year-old man. I've got 2 children. I've made a career out of trading, and I know exactly what I'm doing. And these people were effectively just ripping people off. And look, the thing was that they were making gains because all they said was buy, and it went up. Right. It was just a matter of time. Now, of course, a lot of those people disappeared through 2018. 2018 was still a good year for us because as long as you know how to short, it was fine.
100%.
You could still trade and build your sats. It was a different way of playing the market, but one that was equally as valuable for your longevity if you want to have a career in the space. So, what are the things when it comes to trading when it comes to fundamentals, what are the things that you look for? Because I see a lot about this Google search not increasing too much right now. So you took with the hysteria of 2017. What are some of the indicators you look for in the fundamental side of things?
So for me, it's funny. I want to comment, like your whole story there, 2017 sounds exactly like us. We didn't want to be an educational resource. We wanted to hook up with other people who wanted to trade and had that whole experience. Like, wow, there's a lot of people getting scammed right now. And we sort of turned into like whistleblowers. And then people asked us, hey, how do we do whatever? So we literally put together an educational course and everything to sort of feed that need. But so it's funny. It sounds like we're right on the same wavelength there. Too. Yeah, absolutely. Great minds. But so when it comes to fundamentals, I'm a big believer in actually first people, like paying attention to who's involved in a project and what is their success rate with a project? What is their business prowess? Yeah. A lot of people in 2017, if you said Vitalik Buterin's name, oh, he's an advisor, bam, there's your 200% move over the course of 4 hours or whatever. But that's a little different now. So rather than having that, the joke was always in 2018 that if XRP had a new partnership come out, they were going to lose another 30%.
Yeah, that's right.
Every time, like, hey, we're working with MoneyGram.
Bang, down went.
So you have to kind of calibrate, like what news actually matters, what information actually matters, and obviously FOMO matters in a bull market. Like that's crucial as a trader to sort of to be early to that, and then let the FOMO carry you up to new highs. But In the meantime, I think a good example in 2019 was Bitcoin SV.
Yep.
You had all the people, they don't like Craig Wright. The whole crypto community, if that even exists, wants that man gone. They want to destroy him. So then you had CZ from Binance and Jesse Powell from Kraken, in my opinion, breaking securities laws to say, hey, we don't like him. We're going to delist BSV and blah, blah, blah. And BSV dropped to $50 a coin in the early stages of a of a bull market.
Yeah.
So that's a dip to buy, because fundamentally BSV has a lot of developers. It has distributed hashing power. There's a lot going on there, and people aren't talking about it. So fundamentally, I was telling my people, like, hey guys, BSV is not going to go away, and it's been beaten down the charts. That's your buy opportunity. Just buy it as it drops, because the bull market's going to carry it back up. And now it's we're about a 500% gain from the lows of just about 2 months ago now. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that I like to pay attention to, as opposed to like Ethereum Classic got 51% attacked. We signaled to short it. It did go down about 20%, and now it's gone up 2-3x since that too. So like fundamentals are rough, because fundamentally there aren't business people waking up in the morning and saying, well, what are we going to do with Ethereum Classic today? Like the factories aren't running on Ethereum right now. Yeah. As much as people want that to be, it's not the case. So it is a very speculative market, and you kind of have to play off of the rumors and whispers. But at some point, I hope that a fundamental analyst like myself is someone who can more accurately predict market trends based on actual business demand. And right now it's a little bit.
It's difficult because the factors all change, and there's not a one size fits all. Whereas if you're looking at a stock, or if you're looking at equity, it's a PLC. So you've got information you can go and read, and you can form an opinion based on debt ratios, based on earnings and growth, and all these wonderful things that make perfect sense. But in crypto, it's very difficult to have that. One thing I did pick up on around your Bitcoin SV little spot there was that you really focused on not the emotion. You didn't get caught up in that. You weren't like, oh, Craig Wright, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think that some of the stuff that Craig Wright's been doing, I don't think it's a positive thing for the space. I think it's quite childish. But it's not about me having an opinion. It's about me trading a market. You saw an opportunity for whatever the reason it was that you saw the opportunity. And, I'm sure that when people are saying to you, yeah, but I don't want to support this thing. It's like, well, this is a market. Here is what I see as an opportunity. And who's doing it? Look, it's an important part of what you're trying to achieve if you're looking long term. But if you're looking for a short-term pop, like some of the stuff I trade, I don't know what they do. I don't care. I'm not a tech guy. I mean, I've got business in tech, but I'm not a coder. I'm good at what I'm good at, and the rest of it I put people in to do it for me because I don't know. So taking that emotion out from the fundamental point of view is obviously important, as well as from the trading point of view. And I actually watched one of your videos prior to us interviewing. And I really liked what you said about indicators. So do you want to tell us what you think indicators are good for and what they're also bad for?
I think they're good for confusing people.
Cool.
So, yeah, you know what? Indicators are the newcomers. The newcomers create spaghetti bowls. They're everything. They've got 50 moving averages and Bollinger Bands and Fib and Elliott Wave. And I'm a support and resistance guy. I'm a swing trader also, so I'm not playing hyper volatility and that kind of stuff. But I use RSI a little bit. I will pull up Bollinger Bands and sort of check on things a little bit. I will check fibs, and it's not that I don't use them. I very typically use them one at a time.
Yeah.
And look at the broader trend. Zoom out on the chart. Look at daily candles. And have at it. And it's funny because we've even had clients of ours, people that come to us who didn't know how to trade anything and have become successful traders over the course of 2 or 3 months of practice, and then start telling me that I don't know what I'm doing because I've never put up an Elliott Wave chart. And, and I have to explain, like, well, Elliott Wave is a lot of pseudoscience. First of all, it's fine. It's not a bad thing, but it's very complex, and it's not the kind of thing that I want to be, using on the regular, especially because it's pretty unnecessary.
If you can read
Crypto,
trend, you don't need it.
exactly. It's looking too deep into the crystal ball.
Yeah.
You know, how do weathermen tell if it's going to rain? Well, sometimes you can look out the damn window.
I get the same feeling on that too, mate. I mean, look, one of the things that I find fascinating is the same sort of thing. Like you see people's charts, and it's like left-handed Swahili. You can't, like, I look at them, I'm like, how do you make a decision there? You know, like I've been trading 13 years, and I've been fortunate to travel all around the world and work with some fantastic traders. Some have worked in, run their own funds. Some have just traded from home. And what I noticed in my early years was that typically the better the trader, it's hard to say the better the trader, because what makes a trader better? Is it the returns? Is it the life? Like, I don't know. I don't really like the term better trader, but the traders that felt most comfortable, had a great lifestyle, and were making good money, tended to have less on the charts. I use a 10 period, 20 period moving average and a MACD. I'll use Fibonacci support and resistance, and I'll wait for pullbacks. It's not rocket science, and we've just got it in a checklist. So when we educate people as well, we have essential factors that they literally tick off, and then bonus factors to help to increase the probability, because we manage risk and probability. They're the only two things that we can control. We can't control when the market goes up or down. There's nothing we can do about that. But every variable that we can control, we must control. And discipline's one of those things. And that's why the checklist I found, that's how my noggin works. It's helped me a lot with my career, and it's really been something that I've been able to grip onto. I don't mix things around. I don't change them around. And people say to me, "Oh, have you seen what this person's doing? What do you think of this?" I'm like, look, I don't want to sound arrogant here, but I really don't look at anybody else. I spent a long time getting good at this. The last thing I want to do is get analysis paralysis or think that something I'm doing is wrong. I know what I'm doing is right. I've been full-time trading for 9 years. This is how I've supported my family. Now, of course, I've got the business as well, which is another kettle of fish, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. It's like learning all over again, right?
Sure is.
But it's about having that ability to have confidence in yourself, and I think the only way to do that is really by learning from other people, whether it's me, whether it's you, or whether it's somebody else. You've got the easiest way to success is to have a mentor. I know that you guys do something along these lines. I mean, you want to tell us, like, you've got a huge amount of people in your membership, right?
We do. Yeah. We've got about 300 paying members, and that's a pretty good sized community where it's a little bit difficult to have a personal relationship with everybody, but there's 3 moderators between us. And we all have our own little cliques. Well, obviously we're all friendly, but there are the people that want to ask me questions. There are people that want to ask Matt, and then Vance is our other guy. But and we all have very different trading styles too, which also bugs people when we do a little bit of signaling. Yeah. And Vance wants to short, but Kurt wants to go long. And it's like, well, we're talking about different time frames and different things too. But we got the 300 that are paying, and then our Facebook community is about 50,000 people.
Wow.
And that's a really healthy place too. It's very tightly moderated. So we don't let if it's got links or charts or anything, we just don't let anybody sort of control the bully pulpit.
Yeah.
Like, it has a very specific purpose. We're here to talk about, again, fundamentals and technical analysis. Like, let's have a conversation about who's your favorite developer on Monday, and then on Tuesday it's going to be why would we enter Stellar at XYZ number. So, and it's healthy. We got good relationships, and we've got a lot of people that truly are friends. In fact, I'm having a baby in about 5 weeks. I've invited about a dozen people that I met. Thank you. But about a dozen people that I've met on crypto Twitter and Facebook and stuff have been invited to the baby shower, and they're friends and family at this point.
Oh, that's awesome, mate. I'm stoked for you, and again, congratulations. This is your first.
Thank you. It is, yeah.
All right, you've got a couple of hairs left on your head. Say goodbye to them, brother. You can pull the race out before you know it. So, look, last question before we can find out more about where to find out more about you. Who do you think, and what do you think is going to drive this next bull market, or the continuation of what is now a strong uptrend on all time frames, bar the month?
It's a good question, because I'm actually not sure what really catalyzed this one. I think in 2017 it was the ICO boom really kind of got everybody kicked off, and then there was the halvening in 2017, and then there was also the fork. So the Bitcoin Cash fork, everybody felt this is a dividend coming. If I hold more BTC, I'm going to be able to just get a split out of it, basically. And so there were a lot of things like that people were just like chomping at the bit for. And I don't see a lot of that in 2019. We got a lot of rumors still. There's a lot of the backed and the are we going to actually get an ETF this year? But I think all that stuff is a little bit, it's still a little far out. I don't see the firm stuff. Even Facebook, Libra, this whole thing they're still talking 2020 for that. So
Yeah, it's great.
It's all rumors. I think 2019 is a little bit of a weird year, and I kind of don't know why. First of all, I don't know why we got above 6K on BTC the way we did, and then we just kept bursting through.
Yep.
So now it's like, okay, I guess we're having a full-blown bull market frenzy at this point.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm happy to go for the ride, but I'm not sure where it stops because I'm not sure why it started. But the movement's been great. So
well, I'm with you 100% on the movement being great. I think we'll see maybe the more traditional investors starting to come in as Bitcoin sort of phoenixes itself once again from the ashes.
Yeah.
I think we'll see 40 to 65-year-olds that are playing the stock markets right now with those all-time highs. It's ridiculous, right? It's not going to last forever. There's a lot of people that are moving into cash, and cash doesn't make you any money in this very low interest rate environment. It's very, very dangerous to be in cash. So I think I don't know if we started to see this yet. I do know that the CME futures, the volume there has picked up significantly. Now that's a really good indication of institutional players, because you need to have a derivative product to have a exposure to a market, because if you can't hedge against a market, then you can't really have without a derivative product with enough volume, you can't even put $100 million account in. Right. And I say only because if you're a fund, that's a very small amount. If you want to get a bit of exposure into this space, it's a very small amount. So they need to be able to hedge themselves with some proper volume. And the CME's volumes have been increasing. Now, you're not going to get your everyday Joe, and certainly not crypto people, for the most part, trading those futures. So that's an outside source of volume and interest in the derivative, which I'm sure there's probably, as they trade the derivative and see how that goes, there might be some investment going into the physical, if there's a better way of putting it, the actual,
right,
opposed to just the derivative product. So there's definitely some signs of some bigger players starting to creep in. Obviously, as you say, back to there's a CME there, so ICE, Fidelity talking about it, Facebook.
Sure.
There's been a lot of legitimacy coming back into that space, and that's why I think it's going to drive the people that have a bit more money. So they're not going to enter with $2,000; they're probably coming with 10 to 20.
All right.
That'll be their double. So more affluent people coming into the space and having an interest. I think that's my personal opinion anyway. I think that is, as well as the price continues, obviously the media comes back into it and starts that FOMO cycle. So I'm hopeful that we can continue on this trend. I just don't want it to do what it did in 2017. I want it to be more gradual, because more gradual means more trades for us to get positioned for it to move. That's what I'm after.
One thing, I want to point out what I think you're absolutely right on is the interest rate problem. We're running out of the way to go further down. So I think you're right that the people playing with debt positions and stuff there in cash, like they're running out of options to be sitting in big cash. And I actually think that's a lot what Facebook and Libra is about right now, is that Facebook's sitting on a lot of cash, but that cash is on very shaky ground. Mm-hmm. And you're in Australia, so I mean we've seen the Aussie dollar go down to all-time lows in the last 6 months, and but I think
for my business.
Sure, yeah, but I think it's going to continue to happen. There's a lot of rumors, and there's always some rumors about the dollar collapse and all of that. But I think a lot of it is becoming more and more reasonable as we're seeing a lot of the unrest, the U.S.-China trade war, and this stuff starting to pick up. And I think the uncertainty of fiat maximalism will indeed move more into crypto assets. So I think that was a good point that I wanted to agree with you on.
Thank you for agreeing. We don't have to agree. It's nice when we do. Mate, final thing is, where can we find out more information about you and what you're doing?
Plain and simple, cryptotraderspro.com. That'll connect you to everywhere we are. We were on Facebook and Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. You can find me. I'm at Kurt Wuckert Jr. I got the same name as my dad. So Kurt Wuckert Jr. literally everywhere. So you can search my name and I will show up on all the social media platforms. And I love when I get new followers. So that'd be great.
Awesome, mate. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for your time. Kurt's out of What was I going to say? Chicago. I was going to say Canada, though.
Chicago,
Chicago.
sir.
Co-host of Crypto Traders Pro. Thank you so much for your time, mate. All the best in the future. We'll speak again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic day. Bye for now. This show is proudly brought to you by TraderCobb.com. If you want to get bi-weekly video newsletters on the markets that are not shown anywhere else, just subscribe underneath this video on the homepage. If you'd like to get some access to the free webinars to work out exactly what these trading strategies are about, pretty simple. Just go to free webinars. And if you've got friends or family and you'd like to learn more about blockchain and what the opportunity is, well, I've got a full 40-minute course there for you under free courses. Please share this link around and get involved.